What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. And I know normally that's Whiskey Glitter's line to say here at the start, but unfortunately for him, we know he's struggled a little bit with seizures. That's something that he's talked about on the stream. He's talked about, and it affected him today. But we are very lucky to have High Bear joining us and filling in for the legend today. And High Bear, welcome, my friend. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I am beyond excited to be here. A little bit of an unfortunate circumstance, but regardless, you and I are going to have a lot of fun getting to cover this little match between M80x and FlowState.
That's right. We've seen FlowState only two maps here. They won that last qualifier here to make it in to the bracket at the last moment. But M80X has been on stream here on the Siege Double Shot 9 different times, and they have won 7 of those maps and have been nearly unbeatable, it seemed, across the board. So they have been looking very good. I do want to show the bracket real quick, and I know you've walked through this. Liquipedia here has got us 16 teams, but it's got to go down to the final 8, my friend.
Yeah, not too many left. So we got to get rid of a couple more. About half the teams remaining in the competition. So starting off will be this game. The way this works, it's a Swiss stage bracket. So the teams have 3 opportunities to qualify for the playoff stage. If they win 3 games, they make it. If they lose 3 games, they're out. And we'll have to see how that pans out over the next couple of weeks. But all starts today, and not too many stakes in this game, apart from the fact that it is the first official T2 game for this M80X roster.
That's right. The official start of T2, all the rest of those qualifiers up until this Swiss stage. So we've talked about it. We'll take a look at that, the path to pro, if it were. We managed to get through in the open qualifiers. There was 399 teams that registered and played as a part of the first 3 qualifiers in North America. A huge number of teams that were whittled down to the top 12. One invited team, and that was Nightmare, the ex-SSG ACAD team, and then 3 teams from LATAM rounded out that 16. And you said it, top 8 are the only ones that are going to move on at this point. So, man, we've made it this far. We've got all the way down to 16. They still have to win 3 best of 3s to qualify, you said it, and then to make it through the rest of a double elimination bracket. There's only one team that can make it to the NAL at this point to join Team Cruelty, who is the Mexico Pro team that made it as the other NAL affiliate spot.
Yeah, and so they are very good teams that they'll be facing off against here. Apologies, sorry, I was getting something set up on my end, so I missed what you were saying there about the specific teams as I'm trying to figure out the bracket here. But
Yeah,
yeah, Cruelty did qualify, and I believe they're the ones who qualified for the actual NAL, is what
that's
you're saying.
right.
And then they're
Cruelty.
actually playing. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
the rest
They
of
did
these
it.
teams here are playing to try and find that other spot for themselves. So there are definitely a lot of stakes on this tournament. I mean, it's huge, right? It's your qualification for Pro League. It's a pretty big price tag. Like, if you end up winning this tournament, you end up with a pretty solid payout, especially for a T2 competition. I believe the total prize pool is $50,000. Just
Yes.
overall, I mean, there's a lot going on here.
Yep, the first, so Cruelty picked up the MXPL spot, and oh, I'm gonna go ahead and just show that real quick. So yeah, the MXPL spot was from for the first NAL spot Team Cruelty got. Now we're working through the rest of these brackets to find out the NAL side. So the game hasn't started yet. We're working on it, almost there in the lobby. Maybe the observer can give us an update. How close are we, my friend?
44-35.
Yes, all right. That means game has started. We're waiting for it to catch up. So we said there was a lot of questions. Who was playing today? That is M80X taking on FlowState, and everyone knows M80X. Like we said, they've been on stream 9 times at this point. Who is FlowState? Well, that's Center. Birch, Jabates, Zach, and Zim are the ones that has made it. So that's the team that they're up against in a best of 3 today.
Yeah, this Flow State roster, I mean, they're also some very strong players. Everyone knows M80X, everyone knows who Stompin is, but their opposition here, I mean, they're not nobodies either. Sentier especially has been around the scene forever. Actually got a sibling or cousin, I can't remember, who's a pretty renowned Pro League player. You might have heard of him. I believe it's Surf, right? Those two are
It
related.
is. Yep, Surf.
Yeah, so Sentier, I mean, there's some bloodline right there, and the two of them, yeah, the two of them have had a lot of success throughout the different levels of Siege, and I mean, Sentier with a bit of a chip on his shoulder, trying to keep up with his brother here.
It's the opportunity. The problem is that in this best of three here to start off in Swiss, they have to play M80x and Stompin, who have been nearly unbeatable. So far, the only team we've seen pull it off, JJ and Co. The only one. And this is the team that they won the Crucible back in February, looking to cement their name in T2 history at this point. So we said it, it's a best of three. And frankly, I love M80X in their map bans. This is honestly one of my favorite teams. They ban consistently Skyscraper, which I'm a certified Skyscraper hater at this point. So the fact that M80X has banned Skyscraper in every game we've casted is fantastic.
It's, I'm biased here. I do quite like me a good Skyscraper, so a little bit of a difference of opinion between the two of us here. But still. I understand. M80X, I mean, they've got a map they don't like, and the thing is, they can afford to have one or two maps they don't like because they're so good at all the other maps, consistently picking up maps. I believe what you're saying in the call right before we started this stream, that they've actually won, what was it, all 9 of the maps? Or they've played all 9 of the maps and won 7 of them. It was one of those two stats, which is just a ridiculous stat either way. They can play all the maps. They've got them in practice. They got them in the back pocket. And here they are, bringing out their maps of Consulate and then playing the Decider at Cafe.
Yeah, and Cafe, I'll be honest, my friend, I'm not even sure we're going to make it to that point because we're starting off on Bank and Consulate, 2 maps that M80X is very good on. Consulate's definitely one of those console favorites, but M80X has been incredible on Bank. We saw them 7-5 versus Forsaken and back up versus Turtle Tactics as well. So here it is. It's ready though. The map is started. Bank is on the way.
And we're going to hop right into it. This ban phase here, very important in determining what operators are going to be available throughout this match. This game really could go either way, but we could see some differences being made here as these operators start getting taken off the board. The Monty to start, real classic in terms of Bank operators, one that you expect to see gone. His ability to use that shield to cross big open spaces is unbelievably powerful. So getting him out of here, making sure that shield isn't available makes total sense to me.
And we talked about this a lot during the previous cast, Whiskey Glitter and I. And if you're just joining, welcome everyone. We did say that Whiskey Glitter, unfortunate, unable to join us today, and we really appreciate High Bear filling in for him. Now, M80X had been consistent throughout all of Crucible, banning Blackbeard every single map. And then they switched over and started banning Monty a little bit during these open qualifiers, but has always been a shield, one or the other to start it off.
Yeah, and it totally makes sense. They're just so powerful at the moment. They're operators that really cause you to have to play a specific way to be able to deal with them. So getting rid of that Monty, I'm actually surprised that we don't see a second shield ban. I was totally expecting to see that Blackbeard taken off the board, but he'll be left up, which is very interesting and could serve to be real powerful here in the first half for FlowState.
And I think the reason is because center is, some people will call it a shield crutch. Some people will call it a shield maniac. Whatever it is, FlowState very good on the shields. And so the fact that M80 banks on starting off Monty off the board, FlowState was going to let both of those go through. They're hoping to use that to an advantage to start things off early to build that attacking advantage because they do not want to go in down big against M80. Actually going to use the shields to try and get us there.
It's crazy. I mean, damned if you do, damned if you don't. There's no operators you can take off the board. There's too many shield operators for you to take them all off the board here. And FlowState showing us immediately that they are unafraid of playing them. M80X running a lineup that does actually counter them relatively well. You've got the Echo for dropping those shields and the Smokes for slowing them down. They're still such powerful operators, especially that Blackbeard being able to engage at long range after being protected as he closes the gap. It's a tough op to deal with, so we'll see if M80X have any answers to that very particular problem.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
This is, we also saw round 1 of Bank was a particularly memorable event back here on the Siege Double Shot stream previously. A stompin' ace on the basement in round 1 in a post-plant scenario. In these previous maps, we saw it up on Goose's stream, recapping that entire crazy play. So, not going to expect an ace clutch out of him every round, but he certainly has got the potential, and that's what FlowState has got to worry about right now. Dealing with that on defense, too.
Yeah, average stop in round 1 performance. What can you say? Sometimes that's just how it be. Getting into this round, though, we did see a swap out coming in on FlowState, bringing along the sense here. Really cool operator that can use to be able to make this execute a bit more powerful, but things start popping off.
No
early.
way!
Grenade
No way!
Off the back of Jenkins, taking some space and takes down his teammate. Rice going 1 for 1, despite the fact he just took a bullet to the skull right off the rip.
Okay, so no ace possible there as Jabate steals it unless he claims it in chat. But yeah, that quickly answered back, unfortunately, with a TK there from FlowState to start this thing off. So they're working right now, but all of this defense back down into the basement. Stomp is going to pick up that first actual kill on FlowState here. Holden playing in the back. The C4, oh, what a little bit of a miss. Fighting the blitz.
But the help is there. No, but center is taking him down. A little bit of great work out of here, out of C9, using that DMR to great effect, equalizing the numbers after Stompin was able to find that pick in behind the server rack. And now there's a bit of a lull as they decide to take their time and set up for that plant.
That's right, take the time, clear out some of these players. Even though you managed to take down the mute, you still have Vic Bands and those Echo drones still around, able to give intel here to this team. And you can see him working that piece of intel right now, waiting. Is it going to be the marble stairs? Is it going to be the hatch drop? They're sitting there waiting, and a little bit of vertical control here. So FlowState has got some things on their side, but with 48 seconds left, got to clear out a little bit before they make the push to plant.
Gonna use these sense walls to try and make their way into sight. The first one is tossed down, the second one as well, and we do see center pop his way into sight, tap that plant. C4 comes out to counter, but it doesn't go deep enough. With the shield on his back, it's so difficult to hit the headshot onto that blitz, but he won't need
He got it!
There's a gap in the wall, the shoulder peeking out in the wall, not covering the actual plant, the shield neither, and off all the info from this Echo drone. Franklin knows exactly where to look. Here he is, pushing through sight. C9 last alive, trying to engage with these remaining players, but he's taking bullets from all sides. Aiden will be the one to shut it down, managing to pick up that last player, but as that execute came through, it was M80 all the way.
All right, some laser shooting there to take out Blitz's elbow as he's working to get the plant down after that missed C4. Really the turning point there for the M80x defense, and an unfortunate turn of events from FlowState to take that opening pick on themselves with the nade. Don't expect that to be repeated, but they had the play. It was very close. Not a lot of plant denial for M80x. They didn't have the Goyos. They didn't have any smokes there at the end. They just got a little bit lucky and some incredible shooting there to take his elbow out.
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to just that gap in the wall being there. And like you say, some real nice shooting. I believe it was Franklin who managed to pick that up. So only one kill to his name, but a very pivotal one there. Overall, yeah, I'm still laughing. I can't believe that grenade came out and was able to take out, catch a little refrag for M80x off rip. It looked like they were just about to go untraded off the start there. Rice going out very early.
This time, working on setting up the site. Again, picking up the second floor. We've seen some teams sort of deviate away from the second floor, or from the top floor sites, we'll call it, on the 3-4 maps, but this second floor site on Bank still a powerhouse at this point, and the way that they've got it set up, we see when M80x has got the Valk available, they also nearly almost always play here. Very good using the intel to disrupt the attacking team, and FlowState's going to try and lean into the shields again with the double coming out from center and Jabates once again.
Yeah, unafraid to really lean into that meta. They're so good right now, so why not play them? This IQ getting some big value down below. Belt cameras, echo cams, all sorts of stuff for her to get rid of, and she might yet find another. Already taken one down, but no, not to be. Tossing out grenades, looking to get rid of some alternate utility over towards Danny.
All Right, as we're watching this team get set up from the attacking, still getting just griefed by the Echo drones upstairs. Franklin being a menace on the Echo. Still sitting 5-5, and FlowState right now working this pieces of utility, using the IQ to identify, try and find one of these Echoes maybe, and clear out the obstacles there with Zim on the Flores.
Like what I'm seeing so far out of this tag out of FlowState, they've already done an excellent job getting rid of so much utility. Using those Flores drones, using the IQ. Here comes the execute. Look at this. Center, send it in through stock, looking to apply some pressure into this front line that the defense is playing. Nothing found so far, but really working, doing an excellent job to take away this space from the defense.
Okay, with 1:23 left, one of the things that I feel like we've seen from FlowState, at least initially, is struggling to sort of gain a little bit of map control with enough time to be effective. They had, right now, working the windows, gaining some space here, but against a full 5-stacked M80 team, I'm really feeling like right now they got to step up the pace a little bit, put a little bit more pressure on this team. If they sit back and relax, I think M80 could be an unstoppable wall, but two early picks and a down on Stompin is really a big check in FlowState's column.
There's aggression here. Aiden feeling the pressure ramping up. He runs forward but isn't able to find anyone, and suddenly it's just Franklin last alive. The attack already in sight, and he's not going to find a thing. FlowState just ramping up that pressure slowly but steadily, doing such an excellent job at making those M80 players feel choked out and forcing those mistakes. Great work out of them.
All right, 1-1 as we see them even up. So that second floor site doesn't work out in the defense's favor. They're going to try it, and the rotate can staff open. Going to be the alternative place. We're going to see a win here for the defense. They were close upstairs, but a couple of those early ones falling. Stompin going down. A little bit of a turning point in that round.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Yeah, well, it just felt like a continuation of what was already happening. FlowState ramping up that pressure, like I said, throughout that entire round. Taking away stock control, taking away top square, being on those site windows, and at a certain point, if you're M80X, you're just running out of space. You got nowhere to go. You got to start getting aggressive, looking for fights, but as you do, there's nothing to greet you but shield. There's a blitz, there's a Blackbeard standing your way. You're not making any progress there. And next thing you know, there's a few players starting to go down.
Some questions on the format coming out in the chat. I know that really the Challengers Series has been a little bit of a difficult process here to try and understand. We're always bringing up the graphic to try and show it, but if M80 wins today, put one notch in their column. You have to win 3 best-of-3s in a row to qualify for the double elimination playoff bracket. So they have to lose 3, though, to be completely out. So they could play up to 5 matches if they lose 2 and continue on. So not out of this yet, win or lose, but winning 1 does put them on the upper side of this Swiss stage bracket. If you use the bracket command, we've got links both to Challenger mode and to Liquipedia, which lays it all out to make it hopefully a little easier to understand.
It's a pretty simple format if you get to look at it in an actual visual sense. So I say that, ooh, execute looking ready to come through. Debates below with that Gara hook. Ying flashes come in and he's up the hatch looking to engage. Debates finding the opener, taking out Franklin, and he's in the middle of sight. Answered by Stompin, though, in a position to be able to catch that refrag. But look at this, M80X have already lost the entirety of control of that bomb site. Can't center in the middle of open with that case. Start plant at any moment. This is so dangerous for M80. Will. C4 comes out, Stompin continuing to find impact in this round. Aiden, such low HP, taking a ton of damage, and Rice will eventually go down. Big Bam. Engage, managing to take out the player.
Oh, wow.
Down that shield off the board. That's so important here for M80X, but it's still incredibly difficult for them to be able to actually get on this case. Even worse now, and Zakilla has managed to take Burt control.
No way.
Cover here, but it's so damn difficult. Zach through the floor manages to take the player off, and while Stompin's able to do a ton of damage onto 1, he's not able to hit enough shots. 1 HP, 12 seconds on the clock. There is no way he's managing to pull this off. All it takes is a simple drop of the hatch. Zakilla's gonna take him down.
Not only that, but with a 4K to his name as well. And center comes out, says he's lagging. Maybe a quick little pause here coming out. We're going to see one of the players drop. Maybe. But yeah, 4K from him and a combination of holding onto the marble stairs and then the vertical control from stock. Just a little bit too much for the M80X defense to start it off. Now, if you're an M80 fan, and I know there's a lot of them in the chat today, it's a best of 3 between these two teams. So not only we get to see Bank here to start off with, we are going to see Consulate for sure as map number 2. And then if required, the decider is Cafe. So best of 3 today. It's the only match we're going to see. Only round 1 of Swiss is going to be played out today. The rest of those, we're going to see a best of 3 tomorrow in round 2. And then continuing on again next weekend.
And I think the other thing worth noting here for all our M80X fans in chat is, correct me if I'm wrong, Whiskey, but I do believe this is actually FlowState's map pick, correct?
That is a great question, and I'm gonna look it up just to make sure
I believe
don't.
so. That this is FlowState's.
Bank is M80's map pick.
Ooh, maybe not as good for M80X then. In that case, it's a little bit of a tough start. Bank, good teams can manage to get a lot of attacks on it, so I'm not too surprised seeing FlowState managing to pull off a couple of attacking wins here. And the big thing worth noting in that previous round, that open area attack, is that's kind of a one-off strategy, right? Like, you send Yings in from the printer window, you send the Amaru up the hatch. Great, that works once, but if you try that again, M80's just going to be aware of it. They're going to expect that to happen a second time. They'll have potentially a warden in that position to deny the flashbang, or they'll just simply send somebody playing anti-flash outside of the site so they can swing onto that Amaru and take regardless, so excellent play out of those cool execute that they managed to do off in that round. One that you don't tend to see a ton of, using that Amaru to go up a hatch directly into sight.
Yo, Amguns, I think the EU EML must have just finished up. Thank you for the raid, my friend. Time to watch the NAL Challenger Series and M80X fight it out. But man, we appreciate you joining us, bringing the viewers in. Anyone wants to see how is this NA side of the games playing out today? We're on map 1 of a best of 3, so you joined us at a perfect time. Thank you, my friend.
Appreciate it, Amguns. Hope the stream went well. And it looked like it was. I mean, you guys had some pretty good games going for the EML quals today. But regardless, we're here in the actual NA Challenger Series, a week ahead for us here on the North American side of things. So we get to see the actual way that this format works out. Another attack onto the basement defense going on here. Important to remember, M80X were able to take this last time, having some great success in shutting down those sense walls that were played by FlowState. We'll have to see if they're able to deny them again, or if FlowState will be able to place them in such a way that there is no longer a gap that allows Franklin to take down the blitz.
It's a combination of, I think, the intel that they were using. Vic bands on the Echo was instrumental to that win downstairs. Losing some of the early FlowState members, though, again, that was part of that nade kill as the opening pick, TK. So if FlowState can keep all of their members alive without killing each other, they managed to win the next 2 rounds after that. So M80X getting into the flow, as it were. Going to see which team can manage that first, though, at this point. So appreciate, again, everybody joining. This is the Swiss stage for the NAL. We're done with qualifiers. We have our 16 teams that are fighting it out. This is the first round of Swiss here between the two.
Good start here out of FlowState. Getting some pretty solid control going. Birch already working to open up that site. Oh, look at this. Dangerous. Lurking like a shark is stomping up on the top floor. Getting aggressive and may have a path into FlowState's back line. Keep an eye on this player. Let's see if he's able to find some impact. Say that, the XQ coming through. A couple of sense walls coming down. Doesn't look like they actually have started making their way into sight from that plan. Leave just continuing to get rid of a bit of util. The Blackbeard kind of just edging away, seeing if he can make his way into sight, but as it happens, Stompin hits that flank, and oh, look who he's taken down. So important in the lineup for FlowState.
Yes.
That sense, the primary execute condition, the thing that they were going to use to be able to create cover for their plan. It's Stompin fight for his life, tons of damage onto Debate. The press comes through, he is taken down, but in exchange, he creates so much value for his team. That is heartbreak for FlowState.
Not just preventing it, taking down that primary execute in the sense, but also pulling half the team upstairs to go and find him and fight him. They couldn't stick with one person trying to go up and clear him. They needed 2 or 3. That is the plant going down, though, with 10 seconds left.
10 seconds remaining. Attackers drop the bomb
C4, Echo
diffuser.
Cam's doing all the work. Debates is forced to run forward with that Blackbeard. He'll find some impact, but he's the last alive. His entire team dying behind him, and Big Fans with the answer on the long angle. As the smoke fades, he puts that last bullet to confirm it, but that round was M80 ever since Stompin found that first pick.
Yeah, well played upstairs. A fantastic bit of flanking, taking down the vertical control, such an important part of the basement attack, shut down by M80. So, Ben Demons in the basement have not found success on any of the other sites across Bank to start with, though. So, they're going to try the second floor again. We saw this back on map on round 2. First time FlowState was able to pick up a win. Change up coming on the M80 side. Showing the clash. Big question is whether or not Franklin's going to hide or participate as part of the site setup. Can he prevent this team from identifying they've got the clash early?
It's definitely a nice answer here from Franklin. It's something that I'm really happy to see them bring it along, because there's been so many headaches given to M80x because
Attackers
of
have
FlowState
discovered the
shields,
location
and
of a bomb.
the clash really serves as a counter to those shields, because she can just zap them, and it forces that guard break animation.
Go.
So if Franklin can get himself into a position where he's facing off against Debate set here, he can just give a couple zaps. There's a teammate behind him ready to swing off the info that clash provides. I mean, that's just an easy pickup for M80.
As they're working on this, he's made his way in, holding on to that top square scenario, and FlowState is just really leaning into the shields. They are loving this double shield setup, and right now, it's 2-2. They've had some success working it at this point, so I'm not going to fault them for it yet. M80 not completely shutting down this attack. So, looking for the windows. We had not seen M80 be terribly, I say, aggressive on the defensive side, not jumping out of windows. We have seen them do that in previous maps, but to me it feels like they're playing a little bit more controlled, playing a little bit further back this time versus FlowState, not getting crazy with being overly aggressive on defense. And the fact that they're tied up 2-2 at this point, I don't think they've needed to. This round could be the change-up in how they approach this stuff.
And especially this round, I like the way they're playing this. Bringing along that clash, they can afford to give a little bit more space. They hit that the entire prep phase. FlowState don't really have a good answer for it. The closest thing to being able to deal with her is going to be that Zofia Zach, but still not a perfect solution. And as those shields start to push forward, we're going to start to see some of that impact.
Basically half the round gone at this point. Watching FlowState still working the vertical, still holding on upstairs. Nobody actually inside the building at all, though. Everybody outside at this point. So, talked about in one of the previous rounds, it felt like they were moving maybe a little bit too slowly, getting some of those vibes right now as they make the push into stock, but they haven't managed to deal with the clash, haven't managed to push her out of that position, and right now holding on, keeping this team, even though they're burning some of this utility, still being a menace right now.
That's all the stuns off the board. That's every tool you have to deal with the clash. Such good work out of Franklin. Debate goes out, turn the shield away, but as I say that, oh my goodness, look who's in sight. Debate's fighting forward. Look at the ton of damage already found. Taking down, stopping, and hitting some bullets onto Vic. Ace can be started now. Ace tucked in behind that desk is going to get very close to getting it stuck, but oh, I believe it's
Franklin.
being able to take that down, and Franklin pulling out the pistol to continue to fight. Suddenly, after a very chaotic moment, there is only C9 left up, and all it'll take is one shot to be able to put him down. M80 take upstairs.
Boy, the Clash coming in clutch and Franklin going crazy, picking up a 3K with the shield, combination of a pistol and the SMG as well. Well played, and that looked much more like the round I was expecting to see out of this team that had been so good. Flow State put up a couple good attacking rounds there in the middle of this, but they've got their quota, right? If you're going into this siege, a little bit of a defensive sided map for Bank, you definitely expect a 4-2 half to be good there for the attacking
Attackers
team.
need
So
to
Flow
locate
State
and
put in the
defuse
work. They
bombs.
got that standard split on lockdown already. Now they're looking for a little bit of icing on the cake to pick up for that 3-3 split. M80 looking to shut that down. They're going to do it on the first floor this time. They're going to try the open office side again. Saw that back on round 3, which was another Flow State win.
And FlowState, remember, that was the round that they hit that micro play, that set play execute, using the Ying, tossing those deep, blinding out the side players, and sending the Amaru up the hatch. That's not going to work again. It just isn't. M80x is too good a team to fall for the same thing anyway. So FlowState opt not even to bring it along. See how
5 seconds
different this
remaining.
lineup is tooled to be. I mean, you're bringing along the Ace, the Twitch instead. You're
Attackers
not
must locate
bringing
and
along a
defuse the
rush
bomb.
kit. So we're going to see a completely different attack here. Even M80x have to come up with a solution, something entirely foreign to them. See if they're able to find something, but they've definitely got the tools for the job.
Got the tools. Can they pull it off? And I don't think, you said it, I don't think M80 is going to let them get so much site control so early this time. And Stompin working this intel angle, pulling out the cam, searching. IQ's going to put in the work, though, from Birch, trying to figure out where all of that is. Clear it out before it gets too late into this round. But I love the Twitch play there from Zach. Working to clear out this extra intel. That's the piece that they got to get done early if they can try and gain some of this ground.
Yeah, and that's Twitch so good for being able to do it. And the main reason you bring her
Attacker's bomb
along is
diffuser
to
has
open
been
up
dropped.
lurk angles, a little bit of potential to crouch walk forward into an unpredictable spot later on in the round. Defender drops, ooh, in towards top square. FlowState works. Aiden forced to drop the hatch, tosses out a C4, but it's actually shot out before it can pop. If he managed to get that up, I think it would have taken down 3 players, but no dice this time, as they're simply forced to give up the top floor.
Yeah, they've fallen back down, holding on to these first floor positions. No one lurking in the basement. I was wondering if we were going to see some sort of a crazy flank come out at this point, but they don't really have to give up any of the power positions they're holding, forcing Flow State to try to make this push down. They do have vertical, but they don't have a lot of great operators for opening and managing the vertical space. No Buck, no Ram, and look at this, taking out all of that Ace Util. That's all of them gone. All the Selmas. Not going to be able to open up that wall at all, and that was a huge play by Stompin downstairs in Archives.
Yeah, position revealed, but you'll take that at a certain point. I mean, that's some incredible value out of Stompin, keeping that quad wall pretty much entirely closed. There's a little bit of a gap in it, which can be played from the staircase, get that deep angle in towards site, but it's far from conclusive. It's far from being able to really open up some of that pressure, and here's that Blackbeard being so effectively played by Sent here, just refusing to engage, his teammate following up, being the gun. Stompin is forced to look at that constant, ever-present threat that is the Blackbeard, but look at this, Aiden in a dangerous spot, but it will be cleared. Zach Killa with the read, able to make his way in through that front lobby desk and play it perfectly, checking his corners, crossing those items off his list. And it feels now at this point like everything is going the way of FlowState. One traded back. Big Van managing to answer. And the second for himself is Rice. Rice finds 2 elsewhere. He's flips from 5v2 to a 2v1. And now just C9 left in a 1v1 against Rice, but Rice is repositioned. He's upstairs. He's waiting for that plant to go down, waiting until C9 is forced to stick before he hits the drop.
What a shot!
Popping off at the last second, but Rice with his crosshair already trained on the position he knows the ace to be. He's able to simply pre-fire him, taking him down and sending M80 into the second half with an advantage.
And really felt like a bit of a throw there from FlowState. You had said it early in the round. It seemed like they had catching all of the right picks, the huge interaction that they had, taking down both Stompin and Aiden over in the teller's side, gaining some of that control, and then the Azami. It looked like she had accidentally thrown that Kiba on the wrong side. Was wide open down the hallway from the top of the blue stairs to lose her life. The
Attackers
fact
need
that
to
they
locate
managed to
and
get
defuse
into a
as many bombs as they
1v1
can.
and Rice holds on. It seemed like a bit of a throw there. So M80X, you said it picks up the standard split on defense and goes on to attack on Bank, up 4-2.
I am not over that. That was incredible. I mean, the kill feed all lighting up blue, everything going the way of M80. Really great work out of Rice, being able to close that one down. A 1v1 clutch is still a clutch, even though you just got that even man count. He'll take that one to add to his stats. Such an important round out of him, and
10 seconds
genuinely, it really didn't feel like M80 was going to take that. Like, I'd written it off. I was preparing my call, getting ready to the 3-3.5, like blah, 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 but next
Attackers are
thing you
moving out to
know,
locate a bomb and defuse it.
it's all going the other way. And I think the big thing that round
Defender
comes
is
down to
exposed.
is a little bit of a mistake that happened earlier on. The ace of C9 tossing all three of those Selmas onto the quad wall and having them all be shot by Stompin'. There just wasn't enough for them to be able to, there weren't enough angles for them to effectively push into sight, which let M80 effectively just play crossfires on the choke points and win a ton of 1v1 fights, which works absolutely into their favor, but it's off of a forced mistake by M80.
Well, speaking of mistakes, unfortunately, Zach goes down. One of the things that I said during the defensive half on M80 was that they weren't playing terribly aggressive for defense. We have seen them play that style, but they seem to be taking a little bit more relaxed approach or more strategic approach against FlowState. On the attacking side, they did seem like they pushed that advantage early, and Zach, the unfortunate loss from the FlowState side. So now from an M80, got all 5 stacked up. Almost 2 minutes left in this round, and they're working on clearing out all of the FlowState util at this point, and feeling like they're putting pressure here. Jabate's trying to play that main stair, but he seems to be in a really exposed state.
Well, just forced to try and go for refrags because of those players going down earlier on, and Jabate's good for it, managing to catch Vic as Vic pushes over towards the elevator. Vic thought he was lower stairs. Jabate swinging from the top, able to clip that headshot. Oh, just like we saw on the opposite side, Vic Dance playing that sense, he'll be the first to go down.
At this point, minute 15 left. Oh, that was huge from the Twitch side. Finally clearing out those Goya canisters downstairs. They had to clear some of that out, make sure that they're able to get the plant in, burn some of this utility. They still have got to deal with Jabates and the Azami downstairs holding on to the server room corner. And you can see all of those blue outlines. They are ready, waiting to push this, gain a little bit of advantage, and then set up the execute. So good at this point. Azami gonna go down to the nade? No.
Perfect positioning out of Jabates, just barely managing to keep himself alive. Eventually will go down to Franklin, but a lot of util used on the side of M80X. Still, worth it. They get themselves into a position where they can start to think about gold for this plant. There's still so many tools on the side of FlowState to be able to deny it. C4 on the side of Birch, Center with 3 smokes in pocket. M80X are going to have so much trouble going for this plant. Come through, the execute utility used, revealing a couple of these players, just Birch. Actually, as he sits inside a red hall, they're gonna have to drop. They're gonna have to go for fight. This is about to get chaotic, and as that smoke comes out, they know it. They realize with the reposition.
Oh!
Behind the bomb. Will there be a C4? Birch taken down.
There it is.
C4 up just in time. Aiden's forced to pick up that case, but he's planting inside the smoke. He will not be able to stick. Taken down as the damage ticks away, and M80X will lose their first attacking round.
So close. Came down to the execute there, and you said it. Losing the first attacking round, FlowState, that smoke coming in clutch, the difference maker at the end. They worked on burning the utility. They cleared out the Goyle canisters. They got the room, but unfortunately not able to deal with the C4s and the smoke. They needed to bait those out earlier or get that pick on smoke. Really felt a little bit one-dimensional downstairs, the blue and server side. Not a ton of pressure over on the marble, but we've seen, or really garage at this point. And I'm wondering whether or not the Nook ban plays in a little bit there. It's so good at making that push down garage, finding some of that space, but You said it.
Attackers have
FlowState
discovered the
picks up their
location of a
first
bomb.
on defense, and they're going to rotate upstairs following that same site rotation we saw on M80's defense. Going to play second floor next.
I mean, it's a real normal site rotation, right? I mean, it's the ranked rotation. You play basement, you play upstairs, and then you play open as your third site. Real default, and, you know, it makes sense. Basement obviously feels like the best site on bank.
10 seconds.
Like you guys saw in that previous round, it's just so hard for the attackers
5
to
seconds
pull off
insertion.
a plant in that position. You can't really fight deep because the defense has such
Attackers are heading out.
defensible positions. It feels like you're trying to bust into a fortress most of the time. M80x opting to go for a plant in that round doesn't go their way because a little too much util on the side of FlowState. But this next round, they'll bring along the sense once again. Nick Dan's hoping to get a little more value than he was able to last time around.
I love this play on the M80 attack side too, bringing out the Deimos, and that is huge. This is a huge opportunity for FlowState. Jabates holding on to that printer window. Is he about to pick up a double? This, no way. Aiden, this is so unfortunate. He's going to hop in and lose his life. No way. The victory shot of the drone to close it out.
Perfectly played out of Jabates, positioning himself around the area seen by that drone. So risky out of him, but it works out perfectly. And look who's taken down. That's the Deimos. That's the operator you're planning on using to make these type players move, force them to expose themselves to the windows. Without that pressure, M80x are in for a lot harder of an attack.
If you've joined the Siege Double Shot here and watching the M80 rounds during all of the open qualifier, they were extremely dominant. We saw them win 7-0, 7-1 several maps in a row. So this one has definitely been a little bit more of a back and forth. But again, at this point, we're in the Swiss stage. These are the teams that have fought through all of the single elimination brackets and qualifiers and made it here. A little bit better competition. So it is a bit of a back and forth between these two. Right now, that opening pick going down, a little bit of a miss drone. FlowState capitalizing on the mistakes that M80 is making, and the mistakes that M80 is making, if few of them.
Yeah, and this is such a good position for FlowState to be in. Pretty much all they need to do at this point is hang tight and wait for M80 to make a couple more mistakes. See some util tossed in, big fans. Starting those sense gadgets, looking to use some light walls, and oh, a little bit of a peek out of
What an
No
angle!
mistakes,
What
and
an
Rice
angle!
Capitalizing on two, taking down very important players. Birch, so crucial, critical. Even that operator who can see through smoke grenades will no longer. Going down and stopping with another one picked up. Suddenly the body balance flips, but FlowState are here to stay. C9 managing to get one closer to an equal man count. Sentier tucked over towards Janitor, looking to see if he can find an engagement for himself. So far, no. Rice holding his walkout, so Sentier will not be able to make his way into the hallway. But it's answered. C9 was actually that player. My bad. I mixed up the player positions. But he's taken down. He just Sentier here in the clutch. Stopping, swinging over towards the quad walls, top square. He will be the one to answer that. Walking in and just send a free fire through the couch. There's the answer. That's all he needs.
Yeah, the King, it takes down the final defender there for M80 to move up, get one round closer, and now one round away from match point here on map 1. If you're just joining us, welcome everyone to the best of 3 between M80x and FlowState in round 1 of Swiss. This is not a winner go home kind of a game. This is a moving on in Swiss stage, picking up the upper side of the bracket. They need to win 3 games in a row to qualify for playoffs. That is where we're at this point. But no opportunity. You do not want to. You've got 2 opportunities to lose. You don't want to use up one of those in round 1. Establish that upper position early. FlowState trying to avoid that right now. So, from the way that the game has gone so far, small mistakes from both teams, and you said it, capitalizing between them. The miss drone early on in that last round really felt like a little bit of one of the defining points. FlowState has made some mistakes. So is M80x. So now 5-3 between these two, playing the upstairs site one more time here from the FlowState defense.
You say the miss drone was a defining point. That doesn't end up being
Attackers
what's
are heading
defining
in
the
to defuse
round.
a bomb.
Felt like
Attackers have
FlowState
dropped the bomb
in such a
diffuser.
dominant position. M80 is going to be forced to peek into
Attackers recovered the
crossfires.
bomb diffuser.
Forgot they had the advantage. You see a couple players expose themselves to long angles being held from outside the building, and suddenly everything flips. It just, all you need to do if you're FlowState is hold fast. You need to keep yourself from feeling stressed. Let the attack be the ones to make the mistakes. They're down numbers. As long as you can trade, you guys win the round. But if you end up keeping people and you lose that fight, what happens is exactly what we just saw. FlowState tossing the body balance, and suddenly M80x give themselves a 2-round lead.
Utilizing Rice here on the IQ, same as we saw in the previous side. So good at identifying this defensive utility. In this case, not a ton of it, but make sure they find those Fenrir gadgets and the Velt cams early on pieces of this. Aiden's going to run the Deimos again, and I love the Deimos play, actually. We saw such good Deimos play during SI. Love getting a chance to see him being used more often, not banned out. So good for the vertical piece, and that's one of the things that M80 did very well throughout the qualifier stage, was own and work the vertical aspect. Deimos a huge part of that here once they're on the attacking side.
Look at this drone in the corner watching C9 right here. His position is entirely known by the attack. Constantly getting pinged out. Big fans up a few shots in his direction, but the upside down repel out of Rice will be what picks it up, hitting a little Spider-Man on him. He'll be the one to find the opener this time. That going the way of M80x.
Look at this this kills that we've got on the M80X side, just balanced. Everybody contributing. There's no heroes right now, even though the king is playing. Doesn't need to be that guy. Everybody just answering back, and Franklin gonna take down Jabates, putting them in a 5v3. Gonna get one, but stomping answers back in a 4-2. 50 seconds left. What are they thinking? Just getting a little bit, making some mistakes, getting a little crazy now.
Stopping hitting a 180 and picking someone up, and oh, Birch still alive and still got that C4 in pocket. And we get rid of the back pressure. Over towards main stairs, and Sentir going down but not out, but unlikely to be recovered. These M80 players, all they need to do is take their time, drone this last player, figure out where Birch is. They have a general idea. He's somewhere off towards site, last seen towards conference. They'll just keep gun up, and Rice, as he makes his way in through that top square breach, will be the one to take that player down. M80x hit match point.
Match points here in map 1 of the best of 3 here in round 1 of the Swiss stage. You said it's a great shot, a great shooting, not making any mistakes in this case. FlowState has certainly slowed down. They looked good to start this thing off, winning 2 of the first 3 rounds. They managed to pick up their first defensive round after that back on round 7, but it has felt like we've seen them, capitalize on some of the mistakes, but then just throw rounds as well. Couple big ones that they lost that I think they should have won, giving M80 a bit of an advantage, and this is not a team that you can give any bit of an advantage to.
My heart breaks for FlowState here because, as much as we're all fans of M80, it sucks to see a team get so close to pulling off so many of these rounds but just fail to get them over the line. There's been several times where it's felt almost thrown by the side of FlowState, where they've had the advantage, they felt like they had the answers, but they're just not able to convert it into a win. And at this point, 3 rounds down, M80 on match point, they just need to pick up one of the next 3 to prevent this game going to overtime. Gotta imagine, Whiskey, that they'll have no trouble with doing so.
5 seconds remaining.
They've definitely been dominant on the basement, and even though FlowState did win in that back on site 7, it was very close at the end, just a little bit of util left alive. And I talked about M80 being very balanced on the kill side. I didn't really want to talk about the FlowState side, but center right now, 0-7 is struggling, can't buy himself a kill at this point, being definitely carried right now by Jabate, sitting at 10-8-2. So, if you're a center fan, would love to see him pick up one here. If you're not, relishing in the fact that he hasn't found a kill at all here on map 1.
Yeah, just not really managing to get himself into this game. Hopefully he'll wake up for the next few. This map almost feels like a write-off on his end. Hit the deathmatch between games, or hop into an FFA or something. Because right now you're just not hitting shots, and it needs to be better if you want to be able to take down the king.
The king indeed. M80x right now looking very good. More like the team I think we expected walking into this versus what we saw in those first 3 rounds. So FlowState got the opportunity here. Defensive sided map. I mean, you're playing the preferred site, the one you won back on round 7. So got this opportunity here to pick up a win, and a little bit of the shield coming out on the M80 side, playing the Blackbeard. We talked about that being left on the board mostly by the FlowState side, and Aiden's going to take advantage of that. So this time working, opening the utility. They've got half the round already used up at this point.
Clearing the way.
Time still to work. The one thing that M80x needs to be careful of are these Goyo canisters that are still up on the side of FlowState. Zach Hill placing those down over towards the server doors. They need to be cleared pretty much right now.
Attackers have located a
before
bomb.
the end of the round, and oh boy, Center sitting under the hatch, waiting for that Twitch drone. He will take it down. A little damage in exchange, but that's some real high value play out of him.
It's final minute ticking down, so got the Goyo canisters, but look at this, the Blackbeard Aiden using that bash ability there to open up the softball, gain a little bit of space. Rice still working the Twitch upstairs. Time's starting to tick down. We got to see this execute, get in play. We still have got 3 of those smoke canisters from center, though. That's got to be a priority for this attacking team.
Feels like the time's getting a little too low for you to be attempting this plan. Smoke. Tossing in those sense walls, big fans will. Smoke grenades to answer, stalling out this plant a little bit longer. They'll just continue to try and bait out this utility. It's going to be so hard for M80x. The pressure here. FlowState can apply. Backstairs press out of stop, but he's taken down. 15 sight, right answers. They try and stick.
Oh, it's too late! It's too late!
Managing to get it down despite the smoke clouds in place. Aiden playing cover with the Blackbeard. Drop the shield, looking to take a fight. C9 will be able to win that fight, but it's so hard of a retake, especially with the player involved. I say that as he's taken down. Sentier managing to get himself his first kill of the game. This retake is still bound to be impossible. The hatch control completely in the hands of M80x. They just need to avoid a peek, avoid throwing their lives away. And with just 15 seconds left on this defuse clock, it feels like too much to ask, and it will be. Vic and Franklin picking up 1 apiece, taking down the 2 remaining FlowState players, and M80x send us up map 1.
7-3 victory for M80x. What some of the fans were expecting when we joined today, a dominating performance for them, and certainly gaining speed, gaining momentum as that round went on. I thought maybe we would see them struggle a little bit initially, but they certainly came back when they needed to and shut down FlowState. It is a best of 3 though. So we're going to take just a small break here as we work on getting the lobby set up for map 2, which is Consulate and FlowState's map pick. And they are a great console and Consulate team, so I expect this one to be close as well.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously these 2 teams, I mean, they were at each other's throats the entirety of that first half, but as soon as M80 got on the attack, it just felt like FlowState didn't really have an answer. Consistently, M80x managing to make those executes work. They looked so good. I'm very impressed by this roster, and they just continue to pop off.
Yeah, we're going to see what it looks like, though, on Consulate as it comes up. That is map 2. Getting ourselves set up. Short break here for that, and map 2 of the best of 3 coming up. What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. It is time for map 2. We are about 1 minute 30 seconds away from that map starting, and welcome everyone for joining us. And thank you very much. Joined today by High Bear, filling in for Whiskey Glitter, who couldn't make it. We'll be back hopefully tomorrow, but man, I think I'm lucky to have you by my side today for map 2 and this whole best of 3.
Happy to help out. Happy to be here. Happy to be seeing the king himself in action. My first time watching an M80x match live, and I get to lend my voice to the thing. I mean, I feel unbelievably privileged here, Whiskey. And you know what? The privilege just continues as we've had quite the exciting map 1. M80x taking bank, giving themselves the lead in the series.
That's right. Not expected, really for me, not expecting to see them lose. We saw them win a bank versus with Forsaken, which was a couple of X-Pros. That's Gasher and Hat on that team. So the fact that they were able to take down the X-Pros earlier in the quals, definitely not unexpected. Now, I want to bring up the Swiss stage bracket. You can use the bracket command, pull it up, but the only games we've seen so far, Nightmare goes up 1 map versus the Unks, and then we talked about it very early on, Space Tubes getting a forfeit win versus Akron. Akron had a huge best-of-5 grand final win last night versus the University of Cincinnati in the CR6 grand final. Must have partied too hard, like you said, though, and couldn't make it.
I mean, listen, sometimes that is just how it be. But, you know, Space Tubes, they'll take that map win. I followed them throughout most of the bracket. I think that they probably would have won that game anyways. They're quite a good roster. Some of my friends playing on that team, so I am substantially biased, but you know, I think they do a phenomenal job. I made a little TikTok about them earlier this week, showing off some of the play that they make work, which is consistently very impressive. But Space Tubes managed to win, and yeah, the rest of these teams also just kind of play in their game. So they're the only ones we know the actual scoreline of so far.
That's right. And speaking of, I mean, great games, we're getting into ours. They started, they're running, it's ready. M80x taking on FlowState here. It is map 2 between these two. We talked about the shield bans. M80 starting off with the Monty ban again, and FlowState once again going to leave all of the other shields available. Blackbeard and Blitz, and they're going to ban the Buck. I think because M80 is very good at the vertical play, especially on a map that's got a ton of opportunity. Taking the Buck down makes that a little bit more difficult for them. FlowState's okay with managing more of a direct take using the shields.
See, I just wasn't familiar with FlowState's game in that first ban phase. I was expecting them to take down a second shield because I'm used to teams not liking the shields, finding them very difficult to deal with. The thing I hadn't accounted for was the fact that FlowState are going to crutch those shields every single round, play them non-stop, be oppressive, use the Blackbeard, use the Blitz, just constant shield play out of them, and finding a lot of success in using them as well. I mean, Sentier, obviously a generational shield player, and I believe it was it Jabates who was the other one who was constantly bringing those along? Either way, FlowState, super willing to be playing those, so they want to leave as many up as they can.
Yeah, you got it. Making sure that they're all available here. In this case, Madi's going to start upstairs on defense, bringing out the Goyo, sort of a similar setup than the way that you have the basement in Bank as well. A lot of plant and area denial utility because you've got these windows that. I don't know whether or not FlowState will run the Amaru, try and use the Amaru strat up through the windows, up through the hatches. A lot of great opportunities for that, though, and you can see tons of util here being used to try and prevent the admin overtake as well. M80 setting up great defense up here to start. Now, this is map 2 of the best of 3. If you're just joining us, welcome, everyone.
Yeah, getting into it. Consulate, real cool map. It's one of the more recent ones added to the pool. I say that. I think both Labs and Layer are more recent additions, but regardless, very much one of those maps which plays out in a very methodical fashion, I'll say. It's slow. It's hard to get inside. Once you manage to get inside, there's lots of space for the defenders to play. Very difficult for you to get attacking rounds. Especially with the lineup that M80 are bringing. Those double shotguns, bringing along the Goyo canisters. I mean, they're just looking to really lean into this map's strengths.
Yeah, you said it. So, from this perspective, man, the opening pick goes Vic and then Aiden, and oh no, an LOL in all chat. That's unfortunate as Jabates and Zim go down as the first 2 opening picks on attack. Little bit more defensive sided, and M80 said it felt like they were starting to move a little bit slower, or starting off slow on Bank. It seems to be they've ramped up the speed here at the start of map 2.
Yeah, going for those aggressive plays, taking advantage of the fact that FlowState aren't expecting it, and getting some openers really quickly for M80. This is going to make this attack so much harder for FlowState. They're going to continue to try. Toss some bees in towards admin. It's a real tough situation to be in, and if you're them, I just do not envy the position.
Holding the C4. I love the C4 toss over the wall, but did they manage to shoot the C4? I didn't hear the bullet come in, but man, it was like center just ran right into it with the shield. But wow, Vic shotgun to the face to make it a 5v2 with a minute 10. What a start for this team on round 1.
Well, not just Vic, his teammate, the Goyo, stomping, just playing around that player, calling his teammate over for help. Once he spots that player, trying to take over towards top spiral, and smoke grenade is going to come out. Sentier forced to walk through. Bird's going to go down to a shotgun blast, and all it's going to take is a couple of punches, knock that Blackbeard shield away, simply getting abused. And Sentier still not having any luck inside of this game.
Oh, you know what? I don't remember. I know we talked about it near the end of the map that Center had not managed to find a kill throughout most of that bank round. I don't remember if he managed to catch one at the end, but yeah, struggling at this point. Bullied in the shield play upstairs on the reception desk. So M80 taking that first one very quickly though, but off the back of 2 opening picks. So I don't think we really got a chance to see how good FlowState was going to set up an attack, losing those 2 players early. So they're going to approach the map with a little bit more caution this time. This was more of that aggressive defense that I talked about on Bank that M80 was sort of holding back. They're letting it fly here on map 2.
Oh yeah, they are not afraid to engage, and it looked to me almost like at the start of Bank, M80x just seemed a little tentative to get into it. Maybe it's nerves. I mean, it's their first time playing in a T2 competition. Sure, they qualified. Sure, they've all had the experience of playing in those roller Sundays, and everyone knows the stakes there. But regardless, they're playing this T2 level for the first time. It's not that much of a surprise to see the players playing a bit more reserved, being a bit more nervous, being maybe not as willing to engage as they would be otherwise. But having won that last map, I imagine they'd be feeling absolutely confident. They're like, guys, we got this. This was dominant. So here they are, taking it to the attack, off the defense, and managing to open things up at lightning speed.
It's interesting from FlowState. So they banned Cade or we saw Cade banned on both maps, so they're wanting to make sure that they have all the opportunity to open up these hatches, open up the walls, getting some sight lines easier. So going to see them work this piece of it. They brought on, we talked about the vertical being really important here on Consulate. Jabate's bringing out the Ram as the alternative, and she's so good at opening up those vertical sight lines, but gotta stay alive. They managed to keep all 10 left alive for the first minute, so significantly better start here to round 1.
That's a pretty low bar to clear, and oh my goodness, look at this setup over towards the top of those Visa stairs. 3 defenders, all in that position, looking to press. And this is one of the things I love about M80, is they really play the game as a squad. They're always together. They're always looking to take fights. They're always using each other's bodies for support, and Rice will be the one to open things up. The only player, interestingly, who is solo. Toppin, now trapped over towards main lobby. He just needs to keep himself alive. Goes prone, teammate for support, but he's a little too far forward on the angle. Zach Killa able to take him down without exposing himself to those teller's windows. Tragedy for Toppin. Looks like he was in such a good spot.
Yeah, the king goes down early, but all is certainly not lost for this team. You said it, tied up here, 4-4, minute 12 left alive. Mira and Vic holding on, got the utility in play, watching for the secret push, but right now nobody from the FlowState side making that, going a little bit of a spiral take, working on some of the vertical, but it certainly feels like they're moving again slow. Just a little bit too slow here from the attack. Look at this, Thermite opening up this main wall. We talked about that sight, the sight lines. Gonna get one, but Birch goes down.
The advantage now in the corner of M80, and I mean both in terms of body balance and position and utility for that matter. 3 C4s, 2 remaining smokes. Can toss some nades down to try and clear out this yellow pillar, but there's nobody playing there. M80 opting to give a bit of space, smartly realizing they don't need to engage. We've got the numbers. All they need to do is let FlowState have the site, let them get down to attempt that plant, and then they can force the retake while they're down a player. As the case is going down, we'll see Sentier drop into sight. He is going to manage to find a little bit of a safe corner where he can start that plant, but Franklin pushing forward will be able to take him down. No, Aiden with the C4 in fact, but Rice, as he retakes towards yellow pillar, as he fights aggressively forward, will be able to take out the last player, dropping the hatch. M80 up 2.
Yeah, well played there, holding on to the basement, and Oh, are we gonna see one of the players? Yes, I think one of the players is going to struggle to get back in. I've got a little bit of advance notice rehost incoming here. That's unfortunate for him, but yeah, I mean, we were talking about that previous round. Flow State very worked, tried to get the vertical in place, but M80 just shutting it down. And to me, it felt like not enough, not putting enough pressure on this defense from enough places, not enough, maybe even a little bit of ghost pressure. And there it is. That full rehost is coming in.
A little bit unfortunate for Flow State. Going for that top clear, they put themselves in a situation where it does take a while, and you need to kind of make that top clear worth your while, right? Like, you can't just top clear and then go into an execute with even man count and expect to win that execute. You're in a time disadvantage, you're in a positional disadvantage at that point. So the fact that Flow State never managed to pick up any advantage for themselves as they went for that roam clear, that they lost a body, traded a body, but ended up kind of going into things with an even body balance, tells me that it wasn't as successful as they needed it to be, especially on Consulate, especially on this big map that's got all those tight corners that are so hard to clear. They just need to be either quicker or more efficient in taking players down as they go for that.
Yeah, and to me, we talked about this early on, that both of these teams coming from the console scene, they have certainly played together. They have played against each other, knowing some of the tactics. And right now, it certainly feels like Flow State had a great start to this best of three, and then they got ran over by this M80X team, and that momentum is continuing. I'm wondering whether or not that mental is chalked and is going to be a problem. So we'll see as it plays out. I think we could I'm going to take a quick break on the mainstream for a moment while we work on getting that lobby set back up. If you're just joining us, map 2 of the best of 3 underway, 2-0 currently, with a little quick rehost. Oh, wait. This is a little bit of a spectator bug. Welcome back, everyone, fellow Siege spectators and players. We're in the middle of map 2, but a little bit of a funny bug here during the rehost. Even though the map bans are in, the game wants to go through the whole map ban stage. That's funny.
Oh, that's so crazy. So it's going through the operator bans. The players cannot ban the operators right now. They can't see them. We can't see them either. I have not seen this glitch before, but very iconic. And oh, looks like we're hopping into it. Very funny moment that did occur. Are the operators actually banned? Can we confirm if that's the case? Either way, the
players are aware.
The
So
players
are aware.
Yeah, we've seen this bug before. It's not terribly common, but also I'd say the other impressive thing at this point is we have not seen very many rehosts. Here as we've gotten into year 10, season 1, the rehosts have definitely gone down significantly versus what we saw at the end of year 9, where it was like sometimes you couldn't get through a game without 2 rehosts.
It's definitely improved a little bit, the stability, but it does still happen occasionally. I believe what happened there was one player who crashed and wasn't able to reconnect to the lobby, which is a known bug. It does happen from time to time. Unfortunately, that happened in the middle of this one, but luckily for us, not too long a pause in the excitement as we're right back into it for a little bit of action on this split site of Consulate.
Yeah, and at this point, yeah, we're at, you said split site. My favorite, one of the reasons I love Consulate is the fact that it's got the split site. I know there have been a few in Siege competitive history, but currently the only one. And I think it really adds something to the way that the game is played, changes it up, makes it a little bit different. I think that's one of the reasons Consulate is a fun map to watch the teams play on, because it adds a little bit of chaos here. Now, it seems like a lot of times we see this heavy push down the secret side, and Aiden playing the pulse over, waiting, watching for that potential.
Has there ever been another split site in Comp Siege?
I believe Oregon did back in the day. Yep.
Oh my God, you're right. The tower one. Holy smokes, take me back. I think I was a little child at that point, a little boy of 12 years. I say that as we're getting into this round. 8 playing the Pulse, a very classic operator on this site, one you can use to be able to deny plants should the attack attempt to go for that Teller's bomb site, get a plant down, simply sitting below, toss that C4 up through the floor, blow that player sky high, bada bing, bada boom. But this round, FlowState looking like they're going more for a cross take along this bottom floor, through the basement, using breach charges, opening up some walls, slowly starting to ramp up this pressure, and they find themselves already just one round away from one room away from sight.
That's right, you said it. Look at this Pulse working, getting this intel. Gonna take some shots. Not gonna lose it though. Stomping on the flank. I love this coming up yellow stairs. There's a distraction downstairs. You can definitely catch this team off guard from behind.
Oh, the help is there, but they're not able to find anyone. C9 doing so much work, picking up 2, but the fights are there, the support. Oh, such
wow.
good work out of Aiden, managing to take down such an important operator, the Blackbeard, the spearhead of this push. They keeping himself alive, pulling out that pulse scanner, revealing the last 2 players, swinging out, picking them both up. Such a great round out of Aiden as he goes huge and picks up 3.
Oh, well, yeah, what an unfortunate round. And, you know, somebody mentioned it in chat. I don't know whether or not these guys are trolling at this point. It's unfortunate. FlowState, they started off this best of 3. It felt like on a roll. A little bit concerned if you're an M80 fan, but it is really fallen back. After that initial 2-round win, they have only managed to pick up 1 round in the past, let's see. And this is in the past 10 rounds, they've only won 1.
It's not looking good for FlowState. And I'll note that basement defense that they won was basement on bank, one of the best, most defensible sites in the game. I mean, you're expecting to win that 9 times out of 10, and they lost it one of those 2 times they went. Oh, not looking great if you're a fan of FlowState, but I mean, a little bit of cope still there potentially. Let's remember, folks, these guys are attacking on Consulate, and this site is so brutal to attack. Absolutely possible they start to run up some rounds on the defense.
The problem is you are playing against M80 and the King. Even though FlowState might have a little bit of an advantage, I don't think that they have got it in them right now. They haven't shown the spark. They haven't shown just what they need to try and shut down the King. They have got their work cut out for them, and in a 3-0 start to Consulate, in a best of 3 on map 2, there is a ton of pressure, and it is all on FlowState to show up right now.
Start things off, a lot of damage onto Franklin through the window of bathroom, I believe, off a long angle, but he will survive. Feeling confident as he sprints back across the head holes, which almost took his life just a moment ago. So I thought for a second it said next to his name 9-1. I realize now that since the rehost it is 0-1. My numbers are pretty small on my screen. I'm casting off here, but Aiden going for something aggressive, not finding an answer. Well, the answer he finds, in fact, is a bullet in his head. Debates, seemingly ready for it as the C4 goes off secret tunnel, swings around, manages to catch off the mute.
Even when FlowState manages to find an opening pick, that has not been a win condition for this team. They have still been getting shut down even when they find that opening pick, so they're going to have to do better than a single pick here on Aiden. Now, he has picked up 3, the top frag on this team after the rehost. A little bit of a trade back and forth. Stompin finds 1. Franklin goes down in a 3v4. Continuing to try and press the advantage, but not really making any significant progress yet at this point. They do have the vertical. They still have Jabates playing that Deimos. Going to identify where these defenders are, but he's walking away with his partner walking up to take the engagement.
The first time we've seen FlowState secure themselves an advantage in one of these rounds, and a lot better of a position here than they've been previously. Oh my goodness, it's rotating. Scuff. They've still got some tools to be able to slow down at maybe the Goyo canisters, be the pivotal piece here. He had popped off, slowing these guys down, forced them to wait that fire out, preventing them from pushing forward. And look, Vic as well, he's got some smoke grenades in pocket. It's still not obvious how FlowState will get themselves into a position to start sticking this plant. We'll have to see how they start their approach.
Got 40 seconds left, a little bit of time here. You've got 4 operators. What can they do? Continue to work and clear utility, but Vic Bands picks up another, stomping a double, a triple on the round, and a 3v1 with 25 seconds left. It is all up to Birch and the Brava. Can he do it?
Attackers recovered the
Very
bomb diffuser.
unlikely. Such a tough position here. Just kind of locked off towards that admin office. Gonna walk out to the hallway. The feet spotted and stop and swing it out. Picking up 4 for himself on the round. An advantage overall for the longest time for FlowState. But what can you do against the king?
There it is. He picks it up and break out the barbecue sauce for that 4-piece because Stompin picks it up and win their 4th in a row. Geez, just a pile of 4s here. Siege poetry coming out as M80x is looking to find their win on map 2 of this best of 3. FlowState, it is not a win or go home scenario, but to lose this first one is going to be tough. Got to make this push now. Your opportunity starts. You've got to bring something to the table to slow this M80x team down, and we're going to see a stomping round 1 of Swiss.
It feels so bad for FlowState. That was certainly their best chance so far at taking a round, at getting one of those so pivotal Consulate attacks. And it all just comes down to 3 players sprinting out into Checkers Hall and getting taken down untraded. We saw that go from a 4v3 in the favor of FlowState to a 3v1 in the favor of M80. In like the snap of your fingers, instantly, 0 hesitation. Hardly a moment passes, and all of a sudden the round is completely flipped on its head. M80x continuing to run up that scoreline, and it's just going to be so demotivating for FlowState right now.
You're stacking up the round count as well. That's 11 rounds that M80x has managed to win, and FlowState only picking up a 1 in that pile. So not just on this map, but on the end of the second map as well. And now this is the nearly unbeatable team that we saw during most of the qualifiers. They have showed up here at the end when it mattered. I mean, in the best of 3, you don't have to win the first half of map 1. You just got to close it out, and that's what they're showing. So working down towards the second half of this map here on Consulate. Now, still have got all 5 left alive on the FlowState side, plus they brought along the Shield, Jabates running the Blackbeard, so they're making a very direct approach here to gain some of the vertical space above in Piano, but I don't know, and they're not very spread out. They're not putting a lot of ghost pressure. M80 can certainly read into this attack and shut this thing down.
I sure like this approach a lot more out of FlowState. It's a much more minimal clear. They're going to have to hold their flanks, but they brought along the tools for the job. Nomad, onside, Zakilla, bringing along, and as I say it, I seemingly summon the player, managing to pick up Aiden. Great work out of him, setting those flanks, and oh, through the wall, Jabates, saying goodnight, big bands. That's all you get to see for this round.
That's right, a minute 33, half the round gone at this point, but Bailiff to the face, taking down Zim. Unfortunate there in a 3v4. Boy, even though they had a little bit of advantage and just squandered in the face of a Bailiff and Rice. Fighting through this gadget as well in minute 15. Boy, they have got their work cut out for them, and it feels like they're rushing. It feels like they're not playing the tactical, strategical siege that they need to, and then a Rice picks up a triple on top of it.
You nailed it, Whiskey. Like, what are we doing if we're FlowState? You just don't need to go this fast. You've got the advantage, and you just throw your bodies away. Rice already 4 in this round, and we will get the ace.
No way!
For the last. Excellent work out of him. Starting it off with a Bailiff, finishing it off with a headshot. But what even happened in that round? FlowState seemingly no thought. Absolutely not Flow, and not Flow not doing anything. 5-0 is the scoreline, and they haven't got one.
And just getting bullied, right? A Rice ace to finish out round 5 after a stomping 4K on round 4. They're not slowing down. They're heating up as this map rolls along. It is, if you're just joining us, welcome everyone. It is the Swiss stage, so it's round 1. They have to win 3 best of 3s in a row to qualify for the playoffs. and you can lose up to 2 before you make it into that lower bracket and potentially eliminated from Swiss. So they've got a lot of opportunities here, both of these teams, but to put on this kind of a showing to start off is the message that M80x wants to send to the rest of this 16-team Swiss group stage bracket.
I mean, at this point, they just look unstoppable. I don't want to take anything away from FlowState because they've been a good team. I mean, all of the players on that side have found success in previous rosters and historical play, but feels like the new gen is here and they're here to stay to make a statement. M80x has looked dominant for pretty much everything except the first 3 rounds of Bank. At this point, I just 5-0 up. I know it's the defense on Consulate, but it just feels like too much to answer for FlowState.
I mean, even when you're talking about a defensive-sided map, there still are the tertiary sites, the best opportunity for the attackers to try and win one and get to sort of what we call the standard 4-2 split. You should be able to pick up a 4-2 on even the defensive-sided map, assuming you got some evenly matched teams, but that's not what we have right here. M80x is putting on a bit of a show versus FlowState. Now, to be fair, you said it, defensive-sided, FlowState can pick up an attacking win here and then get on their defensive side, and that's where all of the pressure is going to be on the M80x side. But double from Zim in this opening door, but they're just running across the open door. I'm not surprised they're losing too. Getting maybe a little bit cocky at this point, but what can you do?
M80x running it down, and whether you go 2 for 2, look at the value of these kills. Debates going down. That Blackbeard, such an important operator, the spearhead of the push. And at this point, if you are FlowState, you don't really have any tools to be able to bully your way into sight. The best you've got is a Dokkaebi, a Finka. I mean, neither of these are operators that you're really planning on using for taking space. Neither really entry ops. And it just feels like everything going the way of M80, despite the even man count. It's going to be so hard for FlowState.
Activating code!
The way that they've been playing, yeah, exactly. Struggling to just get anything going at this point. And it's the split site, one of the more difficult here to attack. And I think M80 has picked it both times they've played the tertiary. They are ready, waiting, expecting this site, and so good at it.
Call comes through. The players looking like they wanted to push the pulse scanner, revealing a couple player positions. The C4 finding nothing. Stompin has the answer.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
Back up. Stompin, the only one in a position to be able to contest this. Rice slowly lurking up the stairs. He's found himself so much impact in the previous round, but this piece will go down. M80x forced into a reach. It's the worst position they've found themselves in as of yet. C4 tosses it out, unable to pick up the kill on the Birch. So he's forced to reposition. Look for a better angle with which to approach this. True takes sprinting across the doorway, breaks the crosshair placement, a ton of damage, but no kill. But the fist.
What? No way!
Unbelievable play from the King. Nobody saw it coming, least of all me, but he'll be able to pull it off and get the defuse. M80 head up to match point.
A perfect 6-0 half after a stompin' 4K on round 4, a Rice ace on round 5, and then an incredible stompin' clutch on round 6. We said it, this team is not slowing down. They are heating up, and FlowState, unfortunate, on the bad side of that wave. And right now, M80 just crushing it. Quick tech pause coming out, but I don't know that that's going to make a difference at this point.
Oh my goodness, Whiskey, I fell off my chair. I cannot believe my eyes. I cannot believe what I've just seen. The King showing us all why he's the one who wears the crown. M80x, stop and pulling out the pistol. They just look unbeatable. God's favorite team, and they're just continuing to show it.
Attackers need to locate and defuse
And you know, we wouldn't be saying he's the king over and over if he doesn't show up and pull it off. And that's what he keeps doing. That's what this team keeps doing. Right now, one of the best teams, it feels like, in T2 Siege. And I can't wait to see what this team can do when they make it to Pro League, because that is the trajectory they're on. There's a ton of great T2 teams that are in the way in this 16-team Swiss playoff, and we're going to get to see a few of them. But Right now, M80 looking like the favorite we've seen over the course of this Challenger Series qualification process.
5 seconds to go.
I'm still. I'm just trying to hold on here. Yeah, I'm trying to recover after that previous round. I gotta bring things down a little bit for this next one, but my goodness, that just broke me. That's one of the more unbelievable clutches I've seen, and I feel like we've been so privileged to witness it. And Stompin finally going down, probably deserved at this point, taken off the board. They had a little too much last round, and that's him answering for the absolute crime he got away with in the previous.
I mean, when he's sitting at 8-1, go ahead and spawn peek this team, right? Like, put a little bit of pressure on them, try and find something, but look at this. The plant's already going down. What a start to this thing. Oh, man. Nomad it out. They're just playing crazy at this point because you can afford to throw 6 rounds against this team and still be in the lead.
The air jab's in a position to protect the Nomad, actually sticking that case, but placed a little bit too close to where she was planting, ends up popping, and just a split second before the bomb goes down, she's knocked back by her own air jab, activated by the defender, by Zakilla, stopping that case from going down. Now in a little bit of a difficult position to recover. Definitely not impossible. M80x, they're on the windows, they can still bully their way into sight, using some of that utility, using the Deimos. For now, just a slow reset as this flank comes through below. Will it be found? Likely heard. Zim making a ton of noise, but Aiden playing it so smart, tucked in the corner, waiting for the peek.
Attackers have recovered.
And he'll find it. Zim, excellent work out of him. Now he's got that below control and he simply cannot.
Whoa!
Managing to pick him up through the floor using the shotgun. Vic Vance forced off the rappel. Trying to find an answer. Position spotted. And Zim's got to be real careful here. He's not got a ton of space with which to play. One out the pistol is Vic. Doing a bunch of damage, but neither player being successful in picking up that kill. More jiggles going on. The longest fight I think I've ever seen. And Vic simply chooses to go for the reload as they continue to tap around those boxes. But Zim will get the better of him eventually. Slowly, eventually chipping away at his HP, and he will take down the Twitch.
We watched M80x win 9 rounds in a row between the previous map and then a 6-0 half to start this one out. FlowState had to win one eventually, right? On a defensive-sided map, it was a possibility they would come in and finally win one on defense. Now, the early spawn peak on Stompin certainly was, I don't know if you want to call that the turning point for the round, but certainly going to give them a little bit of confidence rolling in to shut down the King early. But now if they're expecting it, FlowState, you got your lucky shot in. The question is, can you ride that advantage through? And now this time in the basement here on Consulate.
And I mean, that round was also remarkably close to going the way of M80x, right? There's tons of time for Vic if he does manage to pick up that Legion to make his way upstairs and isolate that last fight. He's got a 1v1. I mean, you never know. Before that even, the plant split second away from going down. If the air jab is placed just a little bit better, he doesn't get knocked off the case and bomb goes down. Suddenly that turns unwinnable for FlowState. Stompin doesn't get spawn peek. You got the numbers to be able to make your initial plan A work. Just so many chances for M80x. Unfortunately for them, things don't quite go in their direction, but the way that things have been going so far overall, it feels like it was finally it feels like it was finally FlowState's turn.
I mean, I would have expected, right? This is, again, T2 team. They've made it to this point. They're in the Swiss stage. They fought through all of these teams to make it. I would expect them to win at least one round here. M80x can't 7-0 everyone that they play. And we talked about that in the qualifiers after we watched them 7-0 several teams in a row early on. So, FlowState, they picked up one. It is a best of 3 between these two if you're just joining us. M80x, they've already won that first map. 7-3 victory on Bank. FlowState trying to force a map 3 here, and it will be Cafe if we make it, but they've got their work cut out for them. They've got to be perfect for 5 in a row, starting with this next 2 minutes left in this round in order to force OT against this M80x team. All the pressure is on them because it's not just match point. It is match point, map point, and series point for round 1 of Swiss.
Round off to a good start for FlowState, finding that first pick. Big Dan's engaging with the flare, over towards Tellers. Rice manages to pick up the first and stomping on that dirty lurk off the knock. Completely shut down. Zach engages in fight. He may find himself caught up. Vic is able to effectively use that utility, but in the meantime, Hayden and Rice look like they're looking to hit sight. Yes, Rice inside of sight, trying to get that case down while they're aware there's no coverage from the players off site while they're worried about the backside. They do manage to stick Rice with a one-tap. Holy smokes. Excellent play out of him. The case is down. FlowState are forced into a retake. They will find the first. Jabates.
Okay.
Shot onto Aiden. Rice has control of the breach, and he forces these defenders to actually push out and go for the fight. With where that case is planted, they will be completely exposed to this breach as they push forward. They're tapping away.
Defenders have eyes on the diffuser. Attackers need to protect
holds
it.
steady, holds fast, brings out, finds the first, seemingly ready for the second. Prone swing comes
Oh!
through. Jabates
He has enough time!
The answer, and he's got enough time to be able to stick it just barely. Jabates hold on for dear
Defenders
life.
disable the diffuser.
And FlowState
Bomb defusing
managing
attempt
to
failed.
survive for at
Defenders win.
least one more round.
And survive is what it felt like. You got that plant down early. It's another thing that we saw from M80 in these qualifiers. Very objective-based gameplay. So good at not just needing to get all of the kills, also managing to get the plant down on attack. And it makes them very dangerous and put FlowState into a little bit of a sense of urgency. But Jabates just a little bit better that time, swinging, and you said it, prone. Crazy play to win it. But again, they don't have to be perfect. M80, they just got to win one more and can afford to just throw bodies right now. As this gets a little bit closer,
Attackers
so
need to locate
FlowState
and
now
defuse as many bombs
walking
as
into
they
the
can.
tertiary site, a little bit more difficult to defend. They're going to go the piano rather than the split, and I think probably the safer choice here.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
I actually like this site. I like both this piano site and the split site, personally, more than I like downstairs. So I think absolutely FlowState going for the right call here, going to that site, that piano one. It's a little bit tough to defend sometimes. I mean, there's definitely some potential for M80 to find a way into this round.
10 seconds
I mean, they've
remaining.
been so close in the previous two. You got to imagine eventually something goes their way.
5
here.
seconds remaining.
But so far, no dice. M80x managed to get 6 defenses.
Attackers
But
are
as of
moving
now,
to the bomb.
Primary, secondary. I like this changeup from Jabates, bringing out the cap can, make this a little bit more difficult. Maybe they can catch a surging M80 attack off guard right as Twitch identifies it and clears all that utility. Never mind Jabates. I don't think you're going to get lucky at this point. Vic, a demon, taking care of the utility and watching the lurk down below. Going to be very good for them, sort of taking him out of contention. And the other one we got to talk about, I know it, center 1 and 6, struggling this map and the last to get anything going here from the FlowState side. Zim, the only one, 9-5 and 3 after the rehost, trying to make something happen, keeping his team in it.
am I right that Sentier only has 2 kills so far this series?
Yes, I believe
So
that
that's
is
an-
accurate.
Yeah, that's an abysmal scoreline out of him. Definitely not having completely waking up on the day. 2 and 16 is the scoreline I see being asked about in chat. And oh boy, not a great start. And it definitely is contributing in why this has been so dominant in favor of M80. Bates down below here, in an aggressive spot, could find himself some impact if he hits that stairs flank, those Visa stairs at the right time. Call going out, thinks better for the moment. I'd like to be revealed by the audio cue, and he is. Franklin working in through Mandor will be able to take him down. Rapidly traded from the Birch. Good spot out of Birch. Managed to get that refrag. Very, very important out of him. And M80, they look like they're stalling out here over towards Checkers.
Yeah, interesting. We said this is the more difficult site to defend, but stalling out indeed. Vic, just going to say maybe recover, but no. The shotgun holding the long angle and center. Finds a double. But we were just talking about him. Just willed some kills into existence at this point.
Oh my god, Grenade comes out first, taking a ton of damage, and Aiden will be able to answer with the C4 from below. Sentier going huge in this round. We mentioned his name, and he suddenly picks up 3. Now, he's going to have to be the hero for his team, facing off against Aiden. Aiden, who's been doing so well in so many of these matches, consistently finding impact for his team, being one of those hero players. On the Deimos, he has the tools he needs to be able to find that last remaining player. But Center, playing the mute, can simply sit on top of a jammer, prevent that track from coming through, and I'm just realizing Aiden doesn't even have any tracks left in pocket. So he's playing this just with a pistol out, playing it based off his wits, looking to try and clear angles, see if he can find that player. But so far, no dice. Sentier choosing smartly simply to wait in a corner, forcing Aiden to look for a spot to try and get this plant.
5 seconds left.
Finds himself a corner, marks it down, starting it early, forcing Aiden. Sentier to reposition back towards the end of the round.
Operators, you
Gets
are out
off
of
though
time.
at the last
Wow.
moment. Sentier absolutely would have been able to pick it up. So playing it based on the only possible win condition Aiden does. But nonetheless, he doesn't have enough time. And FlowState stay alive again for at least one more round.
Okay. We said they had to be perfect for 6. They have pulled off 3 off the back of, honestly, a little bit of heroics from Center, coming up 4, 6, and 1. Really crazy that most of this team has got 4 kills post rehost. Kind of crazy. But that right now, tripling his kill count from map 1. So that's fantastic for him to make it to that point, make it to 4. You said it, M80x felt like they were stalling out a bit. Some of that momentum died down. Part of this little bit of momentum game, M80x had been on a roll. They won 9 rounds in a row, including the first 6 here on a defensive-sided map. This one was FlowState's map pick. M80x picked Bank, so we did expect FlowState to come up with something. This is their map pick. They should get better than a 7-0 on their map pick, and they're starting to show up at this point. Good defensive positions, holding, not putting the appropriate amount of pressure, I'd say, on the M80x team, right? That initial spawn peak on stomping very early in that round 7 attack. So they can sort of keep this up, upset the M80 team. Maybe they can force OT and maybe force a map 3, because it is a best of 3 between these two teams. M80x picked up map 1, 7-3 victory on Bank to start us off. So FlowState, if they want to pull up show any signs of life here in round 1 of Swiss, got to do it right now with another 3 rounds in a row.
Not over yet. FlowState trying to keep themselves alive. Timeout called by M80x. Likely their coach, Merc, or who's their other coach? Merc and
10 seconds left.
Definitely Merc. I'm not sure who their second coach is.
I think they brought somebody else in. Either way, the coaches of M80x looking to try and come up with a solution to the problems being presented with to them. FlowState have had a lot of answers so far, and let's see what M80x cooks up for this round.
Okay, my friend, 2 minutes, 45 seconds, the first 15 down. Still a little bit of defensive setup here from FlowState. And they're moving, they're bobbing, they're weaving, looking. A little bit of a hold on the admin side, playing, I think, a very aggressive stance here to start off with, holding up and looking right at the windows. That mute jammer coming out, though, and blocking those can openers from opening, going to be a little bit more difficult. They've got to get something in play, and they don't have no impact EMPs. They're going to have to take shots from down below. Look at that run out.
Got along one of the band operators. Franklin taken down, so we will see if they end up calling for a rehost here. So far, nothing in shot. This will likely come down to an admin decision if M80x win the round, which is a bit of a terrible way to end things. Them managing to find a pick for himself. See how this plays out. So far, slow start out of M80x. Not finding the opener. In fact, the opener found against them. Franklin, I hate to mention his name, but he's been having a bit of a stinker here since the rehost.
Yeah, I think the unfortunate ban bug that came out in there, I'm almost certain they would just replay this round, round 10 at this point, and go for a rehost. So looked like they're just going to let it play out. Nobody leaving the lobby here, but padding the KDs a little bit, maybe screenshot this scoreboard before we go to the rehost because this all-important kill count. We got to keep center's kills up to date.
Might be going into a bit of a longer delay here. This round being played out for now, but it is going to have to be an admin decision.
Attackers recovered the bomb
our observer
diffuser.
type that in the chat. Continue to be played for now. Thompson and Rice, I believe, just sitting in spawn, doing a little bit of typing. They know this round is over, and likely that's going to FlowState. No matter the situation. So M80 only 2 rounds away from seeing this go to overtime. It's you know, it's getting closer every single round. It's certainly not over yet.
Attackers bomb diffuser
Certainly,
has
I
been
mean,
dropped.
the match isn't over yet. This particular round, Stomping going at trying to pick up a couple extra kills. But yeah, you said it. I think we're going to go back and replay round 10. At least take a little bit of a pause as we go and try and figure out exactly which way this one's going to go.
I'm gonna hit a pause. Shouldn't be taking too long. We'll see what ends up happening. Like I said, it's going to come down to an admin decision. We're reaching out right now,
pause.
and yeah, as we've just heard, it will be a 3-minute pause before we're able to get back into it. Do we get back into it immediately after the 3-minute pause?
Yeah.
The situation here?
Yes, lobby is still active.
Awesome. We shouldn't take too long here, y'all. We'll just be keeping you guys company with our beautiful buttery voices, me and Run, for the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, appreciate it. And I know if you were just joining us, normally I've got Whiskey Glitter by my side here on the Siege Double Shot, but today, certainly appreciate having High Bear come in and fill in for him. We talked about it earlier, but unfortunately not available today. Hopefully, we'll see what happens tomorrow. We've got another best of 3 tomorrow. The Swiss stage happening across 5 rounds. We've got to see. I know we pulled up that bracket earlier, but you can use the bracket command in chat to take a look at it. We've got round 1 today, round 2 tomorrow, and then round 3 and 4 are going to be taking place next weekend. So only 1 round of Swiss each weekend. And part of that is because you have to wait for all of the best of 3s to finish in order for the bracket to generate. So the admins have not been allowing teams to reschedule, not been allowing teams to try and change up when they play. They want all of the Swiss games to happen at the same time. So after all of the games conclude today, we'll know what the matchups are for tomorrow. And we will have M80x on stream again tomorrow for a best of 3 at 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight, same as today for round 2 of Swiss. That'll be happening tomorrow. But we got to finish all of the games today before we get to that point.
Since we got these guys here, would you mind if I shouted out my Twitch channel real quick?
Please, I mean, hit it.
If you guys are enjoying the stream today, if you're enjoying having my voice guiding you through this game, do me a huge favor and drop a follow at twitch.tv/highbear_. I would absolutely love that. Very much appreciate it. And yeah, I'm going to be looking to cover some more of the Challenger Series games. A little bit more of a casual couch cast sort of fashion going forward. But yeah, I'd love to have you guys here if you guys were around. And I hope you guys have been enjoying the stream so far.
Yeah, very much appreciated. And thank you again for just filling in, for being available. It's been great to have somebody else on the mic. High Bear's been with us for a couple of TriCasts before, so I'm glad you were available to fill in and help us out.
No, like I said, I was happy to be here. It's always nice being able to lend my voice to the double shot. So,
all right,
we're ton of fun.
We're still.
Yeah.
They look like they're in, so we're gonna make the switch to jump in. You ready?
Ready to go.
Okay, so we are in it, and it looks like maybe unnamed. You could tell us what the admin said. They just let that round stand since FlowState won it.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Yeah, they just let the round stand. I don't know the exact ruling or their reason for the judgment.
Bomb located by attackers.
I
Okay.
think the situation is that because an illegal operator was played, if I'm not mistaken, when an illegal operator is played, the round goes to the team who the opposite team. I could be wrong about that, but regardless, I mean, it doesn't seem like it really affected the round. Like, if you look at the fact that the round was being played out in normal fashion before the buck was
10
spotted.
seconds left.
And what ends up happening is FlowState win the round, and
seconds
we
remaining.
see that stand. So 6-4 is the scoreline. Not over yet. M80x continuing
Attackers are moving to defuse the
to
bomb.
hold the lead, but for how much longer, we do not know.
And welcome in. I know we've been talking about it all day, talking about it. Appreciate everybody that has joined us from all of the other streams, all of the other console favorites and fans. Appreciate you guys being here for this. Now, it is a best of 3 between these two. M80x is sitting at 6-4. They are 1 round away from winning this best of 3 against FlowState and moving on, taking a win in round 1 of Swiss. It's not a win or go home scenario for these teams. Right now, it's just about gaining an advantage in Swiss. So FlowState is going to have to, again, show up and pull off something perfect for the final 2 rounds.
And like you say, they do still hold the lead, but this game could be far from over. State slowly chipping away at the advantage that M80x have had. Only 2 rounds now separate them from that coveted overtime. So Aiden will be one to find the opener in this round. Their best opportunity so far, making this happen. Traded though. Zach Hill, a nice little peek out. Does manage to hit that headshot. But elsewhere, Rice managed to pick one up. Ooh, look at this. Franklin inside of sight. They're just going for it here. Unafraid.
No way. No way.
First word. Franklin manages to pick it up. And here's Zip stuck in an impossible seemingly retake situation. Stuck over towards yellow, the mirror window being used against him. His own team's defensive setup. Heartbreak for FlowState. They've done so well to bring it so close. But at this point,
Attackers
this
are
just
activating.
feels unwinnable behind the mirror window. Sit stomping, playing that advantage position, just impossible to clear out. We will not see Zim attempt to walk in through yellow. He knows that's a death trap. Attempting a rotate, gonna go make his approach from those spiral stairs. Slowly, carefully, but he just doesn't have the time to do it. And with the player posted up at the bottom of the staircase, the crossfire most likely secured, and it will be. It's going to be so difficult, if not possible, for him to even get to case on time, and he won't. M80x will be the ones to take this first series of Swiss 2-0. They have been excellent so far throughout this season of the Challenger Series, and they will just continue their dominance, send themselves up for even more success later on in our Swiss stage.
You said it, my friend. 7-4 victory for M80x. It looked like it got a little bit dicey to start with as we got into the defensive half for FlowState, but it was just a brief pause in the dominance that M80 showed throughout the rest of this best of 3. I mean, they started off slow, gained momentum, and really only let their foot off the gas a tiny bit to just give a little bit of hope to FlowState before absolutely shutting it down.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, what can you do against the Kings? Some very impressive rounds being won there by M80x. I think back especially to that unbelievable 2v1 clutch we saw to close out that first half. I'm still not over it, Whiskey. I'm blown away. I'll tell you what, the first thing I'm going to do once this stream is over is I'm going to go back, I'm going to rewatch that round and just kind of like let it play. I think I got to see that 4 or 5 different times before I let it before I let myself
and
be comfortable.
Not just that round, right? We saw the Stompin' 4K on round 4, the Rice Ace on round 5, and then that crazy clutch on round 6. That 3-round sequence right there, I think, just shows how truly good this team is and how dangerous they were going to be throughout the entire Swiss stage. So I know if we get this question, we've seen it all over. How is this playing out? The Swiss stage here is at least 5 rounds. You have to win 3 in order to move on to the playoffs. The top 8 teams from Swiss are going to a double elimination playoff bracket where only one team will win that NAL affiliate spot. They get $12,000, their piece of the $50,000 prize pool. But I think the bigger piece, though, is picking up that NAL spot.
I mean, that's the ultimate prize, right? These teams, they want to be pro players. That's why they do this comp business. And This is their best opportunity to get into the league, with their friends, with their teammates, with the players that they've been playing with forever. So M80x definitely happy with that first win, and we'll have to see if they're able to keep it going throughout this Swiss bracket and into playoffs.
Yeah, they have worked on it. They've gotten close. I mean, FlowState, they did a decent job here of trying to put something together, but that is an unbelievable run for them, a way to start it off. Now, we talked about the Swiss stage. Round 2 is coming up tomorrow. Again, back here on the Siege Double Shot for M80x for round 2. We're going to see them play it out 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for that one. So that was M80 at 2. We didn't even take the third map. We're going to check and see whether or not, I wanted to see if you're interested in doing, if there was one more map on any of the other games, we could take a look. But for M80x, they have to wait until tomorrow.
No, I would love to. So if there's another game available, absolutely, let's go in and do that. I'd be more than happy to continue a little bit of lending my voice to the Siege Double Shot here.
Here's what we'll do. We'll take a quick break on the stream, look and see whether or not any of the games are going to go into a map 3, and we can try and jump in at that point. But so quick break. We'll be right back and let you know what the plan is. All right, welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. We checked. All of the other Challenger Series NAL games are either being played, finished, or unavailable for us to try and jump in and stream. So that's going to do it for us here on the stream today. M80x picking up a quick 2-0 victory in map count in this best of 3 to win their round 1 Swiss stage game. Map 2 coming up tomorrow at 2 p.m. And Highbear, give me your thoughts. How did you think today went?
I mean, what can you say? It was dominant for M80x pretty consistently. A little bit closer, kind of like bookmarked by some nice rounds out of oh my god, I'm
FlowState.
There it is.
Don't tell me they're that forgettable.
My brain turns off when I'm not looking directly at the name on my screen. But no, not able to pull it off as FlowState. Not even getting a map. Some pretty rough performances out of some of the players, and hopefully it's just nerves. They're able to shake it off going into their next set of matches. And they'll need to if they don't want to be going down and getting eliminated during this Swiss stage of the Challenger Series.
Yeah. I think we're going to see a lot of great things out of M80x, obviously, looking certainly like the dominating team. So that is it for us today on the Siege Double Shot. We said again, tomorrow, 2 p.m., we're going to pick up the M80x round 2 Swiss game. But for us tonight, that's it, my friends. So as always, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Ayo. Say hi, Bear.